What up, baby? Warriors are 9-2. We'll talk a little football here with Jake Hutchinson in a second. He's been down at practice. We'll talk about 40 movies based in San Francisco. There's a lot of movies, man. It's funny what makes the text line light up. How could you forget Big Trouble in Little China?
Princess Diaries. So I Married an Axe Murderer. All these random movies.
Even Alona Novikov, my mother-in-law, who never doesn't know a damn thing about sports.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Wedding Planner with Jennifer Lopez was made in San Francisco. Even the movie talk got her ears perked up. It's unbelievable.
That's why I'm as good as I'm
sports. You don't talk sports on. Wait, what?
Well, I mean, like, this is what I bring to the table. You might be the king of sports, but I'm the king of random. Rapid fire, man. It always creates a lot of talking points.
Maybe
I just hurt my wrist patting myself on the back.
It just happens all the time. It's what we do in sports.
I have bilateral wrist injuries.
But it's just amazing. It's just amazing that non-sports topics always get people going. Say, hey, Steph Curry's great. Dropped 37 the other night. 9 assists.
True.
You make it a text. Yeah, Steph's great. We know that. Thanks, Captain Obvious. And then you say, hey, best movies in San Francisco. Best movies in Oakland. Best burritos in San Francisco. Best ramen spot in the Bay Area. Slot machines all over the place. You can't keep up. It's unbelievable. The way the world works, man. The way this works. So I always told us our digital strategy when it comes to producing content on the show, forget this is why Brock Purdy's great content. It's this content. Best movie in San Francisco, why? Best ramen. What do you want in your ramen? Do you want eggs? Do you want shrimp? What do you want? All right, we got Hutch. Just insane what happens, man. What a Thursday. What a Thursday. More ways than one, man. This day's not even over because Baby Chaz has asked me to take her to the small supermarket in the mall for the 15th time. Like,
wait, where?
There's a small supermarket for kids, and just look it up.
The small supermarket for kids. Where is it?
Small supermarket. They got 1 in 7. They got them all over the place. These people are geniuses. Because they know kids, and they set a price, and you can't do anything about it. It's non-negotiable.
Oh, boy.
You're spending money. They got the little kitchen and a little grocery store and a little restaurant and a little firehouse.
Sounds like a live working vignettes.
I mean, it is unbelievable. I mean, gosh. You got everything for kids, and you can't do anything about it. Memberships for the Academy of Science. I've had a membership to the Academy of Science for 3 years. I called yesterday to make sure my babysitter could, Chesna's babysitter could take her into the Academy of Science or whatnot. I had no idea. I've having this membership for 3 years. I'm like, oh yeah, your membership is good for 2 or 4 adults and for 10 kids. You get up to 10 kids in there on my membership. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait. I had to stop for a second and say, wait a minute. You mean I could take 9 more kids along with my kid, and they're free with this membership? Yeah, you got the executive membership. It's like, what? I had no idea.
Oh, the executive.
They don't explain these things.
I love how they have an executive membership.
They got an executive because you pay $300 for the membership, but if you go one time, it's like $50 a pop.
Yeah, it's worth it to get the
It's worth it to get the membership.
Yeah, I get that.
Well, I had no idea that the membership could get up to 10 kids, but you didn't even know.
Yeah, but are you taking on 9 others?
I mean, I get some parenting there. It's called Imagination Playhouse. Imagination Playhouse. Chester just says a small supermarket. Yeah, Imagination Playhouse.
Oh, I'm looking at it.
You looking at it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one on Geary.
Yeah, they're everywhere. These people are, dude, you want to know who's ruthless? These folks who come up with these Imagination Playhouse and jumpy houses and everything, they are ruthless. Slime houses, everything.
Forget the fentanyl dealers.
They are money suckers. All right? They're sucking money out of it. That's why we're broke. That's probably contributing to the homeless problem. These things for kids should be free. Instead, it's like, it's $50 for the kid, and it's another $70 for the adult. Then you got to pay for food. Then you go buy the yeah, we got pretzels. You want salt or cheese? Oh, that's $12. And then you get pizza. Kids love pizza. Well, a slice is going to be $7. You get the whole. It's unbelievable.
Do kids love pizza or fries more?
Both. They'll eat fries with the pizza.
Yeah, they will.
And then you know what? French fries are $7 a pop. So I was like, I'm not trying to save money here. We're going broke. Broke. Because all these damn things for kids, jumpy houses. Oh, yeah, you want to throw a birthday party here?
Money time!
Deposit starts at $800.
Wait, what?
No, I'm just making up numbers here.
Okay,
but, you know,
I was going to say.
like the zoo party. It was great. Hey, we're going to let's throw Baby Chaz a party at the zoo. Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
I feel like you're a therapist right now.
Yeah, you are my therapist. I need therapy because of these prices that they charge us for all these events. And kids, Academy of Science, the zoo, oh my Lord.
So I'm your Dr. Melfi, huh?
I feel like every time we go to the damn zoo, I'm out of $300. Huh? Popcorn costs $12. This guy, oh my gosh. Anyway, let's get to Jake Hutchinson on the River Islands guest line. Is it a time for you to discover the islands, River Islands, and Lathrop? It's just unbelievable, Jake. Jake, you know what? You probably want kids one day, but just wait as long as you can, okay?
Listen, I hear you on that. All I hear, it's like, you know how parents have kids and then all of a sudden all they're talking about is basically what you're talking about. I'll wait a little bit.
And you're a beat writer too, so I know the business isn't as lucrative as it once was. Trust me, I know. You want to wait on that one. The diapers cost, Jake.
Yeah, I'm good for a minute. I got a dog. I'll wait it out.
They go through milk like it's no tomorrow. You'll be buying milk 5 gallons a day, damn near. All right, let's get to the Niners. Deommodore Lenoir, 5 years, $92 million. Do we know any details about the deal yet? Have any details come out in terms of guarantees, signing bonuses? What's going on with this contract here, Jake?
No, I don't think they've released much of that stuff yet. I would expect it's basically, you know, at the top of the cornerback market, there's guys that are making like 19 and above, and then there was like a $5 million gap to sort of like where Charvarius Ward is, and Lenoir comes in right before that top tier, which I think makes sense because, you know, he plays nickel, but he also plays outside corner, and normally in negotiations they're going to try and, you know, get less from him because he plays nickel, even though he probably deserves more for playing both positions. So I think that's probably why it comes in just like slightly below that top tier, but $18 million a year, I'd bet it's somewhere where it's about 3 years, and then, you know, the fourth and fifth are some funny money, and you know, depending on how he plays, it continues. But I'd expect the first 3 years on that thing to be pretty solid.
It's one deal, right? So I don't want to make it like the Niners are changing their business model and how they approach extensions, contracts, etc. But did you infer anything from the timing of this deal? Like not just about Deommodore Lenoir, but maybe about other players? Because I'm just going for myself. I'm thinking about how does this affect Purdy? Do they have a feeling on how much Purdy's going to make? You know, why did they not let this get to the end of the year? I'm happy they did it. I find it interesting, the timing.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think there are a lot of things in play. One, the way the offseason went, they wanted to get a deal done with Lenoir, and, you know, they made him sort of a low ball offer, and he said, no, I'm not going to take that. I'm going to, you know, play my tail off, and I'm going to go get paid, and that's what he did. And two, I think they knew they wanted to get a deal done with him, but because of those contract negotiations with Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey and Brandon Ayuk, all that stuff, I think their attention went there. And because they weren't that serious, you know, about paying Lenoir what he wanted, they waited. I also think what they've realized with Lenoir is he is clearly the third most important player on this defense. And if he goes down, you know, who's going to play nickel for you? I guess you could put Renardo Green in. I think he's a stud, but he's not well-versed at nickel. They really don't have a backup option, and that's become so fundamental to them, especially with terrible linebackers next to Fred Warner. I think they realize this is sort of a linchpin, and for the first time, really, I feel like they're building from the back with their corners. You know, with Green and Lenoir and Mustafa and Jair Brown, they've got a really good young core, and they wanted to make sure they could keep that intact.
That's a well said point there, Jay. It's well said there about the secondary and what they're doing here. You're right. Without Deommodore Lenoir, the secondary isn't as close as good to what they are right now. He's playing at a high level. What's going on with Drake Greenlaw? Where you brought up the linebackers there, and outside of Fred Warner, we know Devondre Campbell's been picked on left and right. What is going on with Drake Greenlaw? Any update on him?
Yeah, there's nothing concrete yet. I think that's still going to be a few weeks out, and they get into some, you know, tricky spots where, you know, they could try and bring him back around like the Rams game or something, but that I think is the Thursday night one. So it's something where, you know, even if he's ready, I could see it taking something like, you know, another 4 or 5 weeks. But they haven't provided a concrete update on him. It's tough because, he's going to need time to really ramp up. But I think the last month of the season is kind of when I'm expecting him to be back. If it's earlier by a week or two, I wouldn't be shocked. But again, it's an Achilles, so I think they're taking that thing as carefully as they can.
What's the latest on CMC? I mean, he played on Sunday. I thought he had decent bursts. He looked a slight rusty, How's he feeling after playing in that game? Because that's kind of the big test, 3, 4, 5 days later. How you feeling?
Yeah, it's he was limited, but that's part of the plan. Shanahan said that's just part of it. I think he's probably feeling pretty decent. What's funny though is at the start of this year, Kyle was like, "Yeah, we have to sort of limit the load for McCaffrey. We have to make sure we don't get him a ton of touches like we did last year. He led the league in touches. We need to sort of protect him from himself." And so I asked him about that, and he gave a classically sort of sassy answer on Monday about it, even though he was out for 4 snaps and Shanahan was annoyed about it. So I think they're just going to keep riding him, and until the wheels fall off, I don't know if they're going to change much. I personally think you should mix in a little bit more Isaac Guerrero because he's just got speed to test the edge in a way that no one else does. But, it's McCaffrey and he's their bell cow, and they're just going to keep using him as much as they can, as far as I can tell.
Jake, when it comes to Purdy and the offense, we'll get to them in a second, but they've got to score touchdowns because obviously 18 to 38 in the red zone, one of the worst teams when it comes to red zone efficiency, and you have to lean on Jake Moody. And leaning on Jake Moody last week almost cost you a win. It would have been a devastating loss in more ways than one. What is going on with Jake Moody? How's his ankle? Is he 100%? Is he close to 100%? What's the word about Jake Moody here?
Yeah, I mean, based on how he looked, it's hard to say he was at 100%. That was a high ankle sprain that, it seemed like it was going to take longer to heal, and then he came back a little quicker than expected. They released Anders Carlson early in the week, so that was a pretty early decision they made. But I think a lot of the stuff in terms of just the timing and how he's feeling, like kicking is such a mental thing, and if you don't feel quite like balanced, I could see that being a real tough thing for him. And even last year, when he was nailing almost everything for the most part, except for a couple key games, it would tail off. It would look dicey. It wasn't just straight down the stripe, right down the middle. So yeah, I don't think he's 100% of where he's supposed to be. Maybe physically he's okay, but I doubt his body feels like it did before the injury. Which is why I'm continually confounded at, Kyle Shanahan just always defaulting to field goals, even when he could trust his offense to, maybe go for it on a 4th and short. It's always like, all right, let's take this 50-yard field goal, regardless of what we have.
Now that you've had a couple days to digest it, did you learn anything about the 49ers playing against the Bucs on Sunday?
Not too much. It's tough because the Bucs have sort of fallen apart. If they had Mike Evans and Godwin and the wheels hadn't really fallen off for them, it would have been a more interesting game. I learned that they didn't fix everything over the bye week. I was sort of hoping that they would be able to execute better in the red zone, that they wouldn't, shoot themselves in the foot and do a lot of the stupid things that they do where, they gain a ton of yards between the 20s and then they'll shut down with stupid plays. And they're still doing some of that stuff. The defense, I like what they're doing on the back end. I still don't trust their linebackers. I still don't trust their defensive tackles. So I don't know if I learned all that much other than that, this thing isn't fixed, but, maybe theoretically, possibly it could get there.
Jake Hutchinson here on the River Islands guest line here on 95.7 The Game. Tabor Pepper, Deebo Samuel, sideline shenanigans, special teams. What do you want to see this week against Seattle? Does it matter to you? Because we were discussing earlier, does style points matter at this point with the 49ers, or does just winning matters? Like, I look at last week in the NFL, Jake, it was an ugly week for a lot of teams. Just win games in November. What are you looking forward to against Seattle? Do they need to win a certain way for you to say, okay, this team is back to being a contender in the NFC?
I mean, yes and no. Like, they're about to go to Green Bay and Buffalo on the road. And if they look, if they do some of the stuff they did last week, and granted those Moody field goals, they would have been up. But, I do think Shanahan needs to be a little bit more aggressive when he has opportunities, say on 4th and shorts or in the red zone, just to push the needle and actually try and force a touchdown in, as opposed to just defaulting to field goals. But, if they win against Seattle, that's like a massive way for them to keep improving their chances to win this division. And then the 2 games that they really need to split right after that, Green Bay and Buffalo. Style points would help in this game. I just think it needs to look cleaner. I think they really, as an offense, they struggle with protections. And this is a defense with Mike McDonald that hasn't quite clicked yet, but they're going to keep throwing the same pressures that a lot of these teams have thrown at them. The 49ers have had pretty bad answers for them. They force Brock Purdy to throw hot and leave guys unblocked so consistently. I think the number one thing I want to see from this offense is a better answer when there's a clear blitz coming, and not have Brock Purdy having to take a shot, 3 or 4 times a game from somebody who's not picked up, or there's numbers disadvantage, or just the design of the play forces him to throw it immediately.
Real quick before we let you go, Jake, we appreciate the time. George Kittle, Nick Bosa, hamstring irritation for George Kittle. I haven't heard that one before. Hamstring irritation. Nick Bosa obviously was laboring last week. What's the deal with those 2 guys?
Yeah, I had some hamstring irritation last week. I did a yoga class with my girlfriend. I was hurt. So I know what that's like.
Wait. First of all, what kind of yoga? And what do you mean you got hamstring irritation? What does it feel like?
It was just sore. It's like when you overstretch it.
Yeah.
And then you start walking next day and you start making some old man noises when you're walking around the house. That's the hamstring irritation I was feeling.
So you're into yoga, huh?
Kittle,
What kind of yoga?
Yeah.
Hot yoga, Bikram yoga?
It was like a flow class, but it was at like a climbing gym, so the vibes were kind of weird.
Yeah.
And you could just hear people like weightlifting above you and people like going up and down.
Yeah, you can't yoga. You can't yoga like that. You gotta be able to go into a dark room with candles. Like hot yoga, you do it. You go downstairs in the hot room, and the lights are very dim, and it's almost like a meditation. It's freaking great. Or you just do regular yoga, but you can't have all the weightlifting and the rock climbing going on. That's not real yoga.
Yeah, and then there's people who are trying to get in a pose that no one can physically do, trying to put like a leg behind your head, and I'm like, I can't. That's never going to happen. So anyway, George Kittle, hamstring irritation. I think Kittle is, he's a warrior. He's going to be fine. Bosa was a little not optimistic about his thing. He was talking about how proud he was that he played through his hip pointer. So that was, Shanahan said he wasn't that worried about Bosa, and Bosa's like, yeah, I'm kind of hurting. So, I don't know what to make of that, but it wasn't like the most. I don't know. I think you're a star player.
It sounds like Bosa's really hurting. Is there a risk that he could miss a game or 2?
I mean, he must be hurting. I don't know what he's feeling.
But
he's not practicing very much.
I'll say it right now. Look, Josh Allen and the Bills look like a tall task a few weeks from now. Plus, you could just sit that one out in New York City, in Buffalo, New York. You don't have to chase around Josh Allen.
That Bills game looks pretty rough for this team. It could go a lot of different ways. So I think they need to win this one to give themselves a chance to just split one of the next 2.
Win the next 2 games. Take the Buffalo game off. But he's really hurting, Shasky. You worried about that?
Of course I'm worried. Of course I'm worried. I mean, how can you not be worried? He's the best player on the team, making the most amount of money.
Well, Fred Warner's the best player on the team.
Well, you know what I mean. They're very similar.
I hear you. No, Jake, hamstring irritation, man. Maybe you should yoga together. I would love to go to a yoga class. I'm into yoga.
Yeah, no direct eye contact in the middle, but sure.
Yeah, you don't do the eye contact.
Are you uncomfortable?
Just to be in the same room. Just to say I know somebody in the yoga class. You're making sure I'm not slacking. I'm making sure you're not slacking. The girlfriend's there. My fiance is there.
An accountability buddy?
Yeah, I like that.
You never watched South Park?
No, I mean, I fell off of South Park, but South Park's not great. South Park is good, but
Well, they had an accountability buddy episode, and it was hilarious. And now I'm going to give you both my best Kenny powers. Actually, I don't do hot yoga or any yoga. I play real sports. I'm not trying to be the best at exercising. That's Kenny Powers circa 10 years ago. It's one of the best
Well, it
lines.
sounds like you need to exercise while the injuries you
Bro,
come up
I'm
with
hitting
on
the
a
weights,
day-to-day.
dog.
Yeah, well, it's because you're injured.
You know?
All right, Jake, get out of here.
See you, buddy.
Go have fun.
Can't pull fat.
Appreciate you, folks. Appreciate you guys.
All right, later.